Welcome to EduRev.
In this video, we will be studying about what is living, characteristics of living organisms, that is growth, reproduction, metabolism, and cellular organization. Welcome to the living world. The first chapter of the unit dives in the living world. The study of living organisms is called as biology because bio means living, ology means study. But what is living? Unique aggregation of molecules is called as life or living. The molecules have tendency to express themselves through various reactions collectively called metabolism. Through metabolism, various biomolecules are synthesized, resulting in growth, reproduction, consciousness, and cellular organization. Let's understand all these important characteristics of the living organisms one by one, starting with growth, which is nothing but increase in the number of the cells or increase in the mass of the individual. Next, reproduction is nothing but production of organisms from the parents. Metabolism is sum total of all the reactions that is happening in the body. Cellular organization is nothing but molecules that is present in the cell and their arrangement. Consciousness is response to stimuli. Let's understand all these major characteristics of the living organisms one by one in further detail. Starting with the growth, which can be defined as an irreversible quantitative increase in the mass of the individual. We get to see different types of organisms around us based upon number of the cells. That is unicellular organisms and multicellular organisms. In the case of multicellular organisms, in particular, growth occurs by cell division or increase in the number of the cells. Wherein unicellular organisms, growth can be observed under the microscope by simple counting the number of the cells via in vitro experiment. In the case of plants and animals, growth again differs because in the case of plants, the growth happens throughout the life, wherein animals it occurs up to a certain age only. In non-living things like mountains, boulders, sand dunes also grow in size, but just by accumulating the material on their external surface. This growth in living things is internal, while in non-living things it is external. Of course, it is also be noted that dead organisms do not grow. The next important characteristic of living organism is reproduction, which can be defined as biological process in which an organism gives rise to young ones similar to itself. In the case of multicellular organisms, reproduction refers to production of progeny possessing features more or less similar to those of parents. When it comes to unicellular organisms like bacteria, unicellular algae, or amoeba, reproduction is synonymous, which means equal with growth, that is, increase in the number of the cells. We are able to see different types of reproduction, that is, asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. In the case of asexual reproduction, just they involve one parent, wherein sexual reproduction they involve two parents. In the case of asexual reproduction, no gametes are involved, wherein sexual reproduction we get to see involvement of two gametes. Asexual reproduction, we are able to see genetically the same. They will be able to produce organisms which is genetically same as the parents, wherein sexual reproduction offsprings are genetically different from each of the parents. Asexually reproducing organisms are planaria, amoeba, bacteria, wherein sexual reproduction we get to see examples like mammals, including humans. Again, we are able to see different types of asexual reproduction as well as sexual reproduction. In the case of fungi, they multiply and spread easily due to millions of asexual spores they produce. from their fruiting body, also called as sporangium. In lower organisms like yeast and hydra, we observe budding. That is nothing but bud, also called as outgrowth, will be produced from the parents, which will be later able to reproduce into the new individual. In the case of planaria, also called as flatworms, we observe true regeneration. That is, a fragmented organism regenerates the lost part of its body and becomes a new organism. In fungi, filamentous algae like Spirogyra, the protonema of the mosses all easily multiply by fragmentation type of asexual reproduction. In sexually reproducing organisms, we are able to see two types of gametes, that is eggs and sperm, which will be fused together to produce zygote, which will be later developed into embryo. Next question that arises is, are all organisms able to reproduce? Of course, there are many organisms which do not reproduce, like mule. That is nothing but the crossing result of horse and donkey, sterile worker bees, infertile human couples, etc. Hence, reproduction also cannot be an all-inclusive defining characteristic of living organisms. Of course, no non-living object is capable of reproducing or replicating by itself. So let's see the next important characteristic of living organism, that is metabolism, which is sum total of all chemical reaction occurring in our body. Metabolism occurs by two stages, that is catabolism and anabolism. Catabolism is breaking down of larger molecules into the smaller ones, whereas in anabolism we get to see synthesis of larger molecules from the smaller one. Example for catabolism can be glycolysis, in which glucose is broken down to produce the smaller molecules like pyruvates. Example for anabolism can be photosynthesis, in which smaller molecules like carbon dioxide and water is going to release or produce the glucose. Of course, no non-living organisms are able to show metabolism. But however, metabolic reactions can be demonstrated outside the body in cell-free systems. And isolated metabolic reactions outside the body of an organism performed in a test tube is neither living nor non-living. Hence, while metabolism is a defining feature of all living organisms without exception, isolated metabolic reactions in vitro are not living things, but surely living reactions. Let's understand the next important characteristic of living organism, that is cellular organization, which can be defined as components of a cell and the arrangements of these individual parts within the cell. It's like how foundation is important for a construction of any building. Same way, cell is very much important for the construction or for making of organism. So cell is made up of many components like mitochondria, plasma membrane, microtubule, centrosome, lysosome, and many more like this. In the next video, we will be studying about characteristics of living organisms, that is consciousness, other defining characteristics of living organisms, what is biodiversity, criteria to study living organisms, that is nomenclature, under which we will be studying about common names and scientific names, identification and classification.